Wait.
Hi everybody, I'm Peter Travers and welcome to Popcorn, where we tell you what is happening at the movies. And there's a movie now called Tomorrowland, a fantasy film for the whole family, starring my newlywed friend George Clooney, who plays a grumpy old bastard, an inventor whose dream of utopia got burned by the world that he lived in. But underneath, you could still see something that's happening there. I think it's the little boy that still lives in George. Anyway, this is a movie, a very rare movie that in Hollywood that is endlessly depending and selling snark and cynicism, that actually says optimism might not be a bad idea. So George, what the hell were you thinking?
I don't know. It was a horrible idea. What are you, crazy? I went to the premiere the other night, and I think it's the first time I've ever been in a premiere where most of the people were children. It's like, what's happened
Who
in
are
my
these
career?
little people?
Well, they seem smaller than most people.
Yeah.
No, Brad Bird, who I just think doesn't make bad films, called me up and he said, we'll start by saying he sent me the script and said, I wrote this part for you. And I opened it up and it said, 55-year-old has been angry. And I was like, well, thanks so much, Brad. But I love the idea that, we turn on the TV right now and news can just beat you down after a while. It's a tough time in our world, and particularly because it's hard to put things in perspective when you've seen it in 24-hour news cycles and things. And I liked a movie that said that this future that we keep looking at doesn't have to be that way, that individuals can make a change and change it. And I love the idea of the film.
Your guy, Frank Walker's an inventor.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, we see him as a kid.
Right.
With his jetpack.
Right.
It's kind of great. And that's the feeling that we've lost.
Well, you and I grew up in a period of time where, if we grew up, where there was this, with all of the horrible news that was going on, and there was horrible news when we were growing up. There was, in the 60s, it was anti-Vietnam movement, and there was a civil rights movement, and the riots in the town, and assassinations, all the horrible things. You just thought the world was falling apart. But there was this one segment, this space race that was so optimistic and so exciting that I was completely caught up in it. I was eating the space food sticks and drinking Tang, and all of it was a big part of my growing up. And what I remember and I remember Cronkite taking it on and it being something that he really believed in. And I remember the optimism of it, and I sort of thought we would all be flying around in George Jetson cars by now.
What was there in Frank Walker that you identify with?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you what I really loved. I get to yell at kids.
That's been your dream.
Oh, it's good fun. And I'll tell you why. If I spoke to a kid like that at like a grocery store or a ball game, child services would come and probably throw me in jail. But I get to talk to them like, hey, you shut up over there, and it's good fun. You don't get to. I played a pediatrician on ER, so I worked with kid actors every day, and I had to be nice to them all the time. Now I get to.
But later.
Yeah.
Now and that was you forever. Now that you're a married man, you're going to get asked that question endlessly.
Oh, I get it.
The kids.
Well,
where are the kids, George?
Well, my favorite is I just did a junket for it, and so each of the outlets, the Entertainment Tonight, and but each of them has a different version of how to get to it because they're embarrassed about getting to it. So they'll be like, "There's a kid who plays you as a young guy, George." I'm like, "Yeah." And you're waiting to go, "Does it ever make you want to have another little young George?" And I'm like, that's good. Or it'll be like, "You're working with a lot of children now," or "This film appeals to children." And you're like, "Yes." Does it make you want to have children? It's always like some way in, always to find out.
I think it's always because you've said, no, it's not for me.
I know.
Because I'm looking at a different guy.
Yeah.
You look the same,
I am the same.
but basically, when you get married, and you're
Yes.
a newlywed. I
am a
said that
newlywed.
in the intro. You haven't been married a year yet. What is
No.
it, going on 8 months?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, George. Let's take
All right,
that
I know the
again.
exact. Let me
Of
try it
course
again.
it
Hang
is.
on. Yes, it's been 8 months.
It's been 8 months, or it
8 months and 1 day.
It will be soon.
7 hours.
And Amal is not only beautiful, but incredibly smart. She's a lawyer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you can't pull any crap with
Well,
her.
let me just say this, though.
Yeah.
If I were to commit a war crime of any form,
You're dead.
I would have, well, or great representation.
I
depending.
see. That's a good way of looking
just
at
saying,
it.
you know, I
I
could-
wonder if she would.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good
She
question.
might move over.
How have you changed? Are you a better person?
I don't know. That would be a question not for me to answer. But I'm a happier person.
I'll ask her later.
You're going to
You
ask
know,
her.
oh, yes, I'll say that.
I am
I'll add
I'm
it.
a much happier person, and I will say that we are very happy. We have a very happy life. We enjoy many of the same things, and I very much enjoy the projects that she takes on because they have real consequence. Real consequence.
They do.
You know, it's not just opening weekends.
Well, does she get involved in your work as well?
No, but she
Not
she,
just opening weekends.
She'll go through, you know, like she had to come to New York. I was just shooting this movie Jodie Foster directed called Money Monster. And so we were in New York, and I said, well, I got to be in New York for 3 months. And she's like, okay, I can do that. And then she said, you know what I'll do? I'll take a teaching job at Columbia. And I was like, yeah, that's as you do. You just
Right.
take it. Yeah, me too.
I'm in New York, yeah.
I'll take
sure.
a teaching job at Columbia too. So we're able to adapt. I'm on my way. I'll go to London and we'll spend a little time. We've got some time in London now while she can work, and we'll be able to move back and forth.
Does she watch your films? What is her favorite George Clooney film?
Good Night and Good Luck. That's her favorite, which is lucky because it's my favorite too. Well, she does like Michael Clayton because there's a lawyer in there.
Yeah, well, that's a true thing. But she's not going the gravity route, or she's not saying, I really
She didn't
want
like
to
Gravity.
binge watch.
She didn't like Gravity.
She didn't like Gravity.
Well, you know, she felt that I floated off in space a little too soon.
I see.
And I feel, when you consider that how much money it made and the idea of a sequel, I think maybe I floated away too soon.
You said once, George, and I want to throw this in your face,
Go.
as I'm wont to do.
Yes.
As an actor, you've got maybe 10 years
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, people don't get tired of seeing you.
Right.
Now you're on the 20-something years doing this. Why are people not tired of you?
I think that I'm doing them less.
Doing them less.
I
No,
think-
that
I
doesn't
think if you
work.
do them less.
Do them less.
Do
yeah.
them less, and then people maybe don't get quite so tired. I don't know why I get to continue to work. I'm very happy that I get to. I think that I was a big believer fairly early on in my career that I needed to do other things besides act, just because I felt like I love this business. I really love the business.
You do?
Oh, I love it.
But is it also possible that this whole tabloid stuff that you hate has kept you in the public's mind? I mean,
Well,
I keep reading about your divorce now, so
yes, I
I'm
would-
really sad to hear that.
It was working out so well.
Yeah, it
but you know,
was. 8 months.
8 months is a pretty good number.
It
You know, when
kind
you
of
think
is,
when you
yeah.
think about it.
But you are a tabloid staple.
I don't believe that if that were true, then you know Kim Kardashian would be the biggest movie star in the world. And I'm not knocking her. I'm just saying that's the way it
Sounded
is.
like it though, a
Nah,
little
I
bit.
did a little
No. Yeah.
No, but I'm not. I'm just saying that I don't. I actually think that all of that stuff, that noise out there, I think that actually doesn't help you at all. You know, the people who succeed in this industry, I don't find that that's ever helped in one single way at all in their career. Being more available does not make you, doesn't keep you more viable in the film industry where people have to. I did TV series where 40 million people a week watched that show. And most of the films I did during that period of time, and there were some good ones. Out of Sight's a really good
It
one.
is.
Three Kings is a really good one. You know, nobody showed up to see those movies.
No, you were the perfect storm, you know?
Perfect Storm was the one that
That's what I
brought me
think of
out.
it. Yeah, that was it.
I had that year. The year I left ER, which was my contract was up after 5 years. Both Oh Brother Where Art Thou and Perfect Storm came out that year. And up until that moment, the argument was I wasn't going to be able to make the transition from television to film. And those two hit at the same time, and then everything changed for me. Because, you know, the movies I was doing, the first few were dumb movies, and Batman and Robin, and those kind of films. But
You're so cruel to that film.
but the funniest thing is, that movie opened up all kinds of doors for me. As bad a film as it was, as bad as I am in it, it opened up all kinds of doors for me, and it also awakened me to the idea that I'm going to now be responsible for not just the roles that I take, but the movies that I take, which is a very big difference and a real adjustment in the kind of way you think of films.
Yeah.
And then it was Three Kings and Out of Sight, and Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and like boom, boom, boom.
All right, we end always in song, and you never sing for me.
Yes, I know.
I know, and you know you're the nephew of Rosemary Clooney.
I know,
and yet you always say to me, well, maybe the next time. Now, in this movie,
yes,
Tom Hanks sat in that chair.
And
he lived Tomorrowland. No, he went to the same World's Fair. And the song is in the movie, and it's easy to sing, and it's called "There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, Waiting at the End of Every Day."
Wow.
I will do that with you.
Can I say that you just even speaking it sounded like a song?
It did. So that's all I want us to do. This is what you could do for Tomorrowland.
See, here's the thing.
Tom Hanks can help us. We can go back and we can have him start it.
If Tom Hanks can sing.
So it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, starting at the end of every day. It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a dream away.
My mother and her gene pool, she infiltrated this Clooney singing thing with this tone-deaf gene. And so now when I sing, it sounds like a couple of seals mating.
I think Sondheim is going to write a musical for you, and it's going to happen.
I might be able to sing a
But
Sondheim
George, if
song.
I'm helping you and we just do that one line,
Yeah.
can you do that?
You start it and I'll
Okay.
fill in.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
By the way, that's not all that good either.
I was trying
it
to be
wasn't
nice
even,
to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All you have to do is say, waiting at the end of every day. So,
I'm
George, do
yes.
it. Just do it.
Waiting at the end of every day.
Ah, jeez, it's as close as I'm ever going to get. Look at that. Waiting at the end of every
At least
day.
I didn't break your popcorn.
I think you were ready to.
I would have.
It might have actually happened.